Howdy, welcome to another episode of Canon Calls. This week, my friend Forrest Dickison joins us again to discuss the release of the hit show Hello Ninja on Netflix. Meet Forrest Dickison. Forrest Dickison.
Hello, Ninja.
Welcome back. Friend of the program, Forrest Dickison. What was your official title for Hello Ninja now on Netflix?
Well,
Consultant.
I was a design consultant.
Design
on the show.
consultant.
But if you stick around long enough in the credits, generally just before it autoplays the next episode, it says
Just before then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although my dad told me that he hadn't seen my name come up until the last episode that he saw.
Okay. Because they play the whole credits.
Because he skipped the credits too quickly.
Nobody's ever going to see because nobody watches the credits.
Usually it should be the last one. So it's based on the original art by Forrest Dickison.
That's awesome.
That's very exciting.
Very thrilling.
Yes.
So we have in studio design consultant for the new
assistant to the
designer of the books that was based on the art of Forrest Dickison.
Himself.
His very self. So Hello Ninja released on Netflix last 2 weeks ago.
November 1st at midnight. I remember because I was up working on another project.
I tell you
TBD,
what, yeah.
And went to Netflix and I saw it. It was not there, and then it was there. It was kind of surreal.
We turned it on in the office.
That's right, at like
2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was like first thing we saw. Well, it was later than that, I think. Anyway, it was first thing on. It was like a spotlight feature on the kids thing.
Yep.
That's big stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is it weird?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I've heard people tell me that some of them it was a spotlight feature, some of them it was not. It depends on the algorithms, man.
Yeah.
It's all about the algorithms.
I don't think I've ever opened the kids thing, so I feel like I was a good test group.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm the worst test group because it was the first thing I saw. So
you've never watched kid shows on Netflix?
I've never opened the kids department, but I think you can still access the kids stuff, right?
From the adult stuff?
From the adult stuff? The adult now
that sounds weird.
No, we're just
from the
from the adult side of
yeah,
it. From the
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just you want to. It's a one-way street, you know.
Right.
You don't want the kids finding,
right.
Godless, for instance, and little Timmy's watching.
Who knows
that.
what? I don't know how this looks on your IMDb page now, but
I don't know. Should we check?
We should.
How about I check?
I think you've
have not checked.
Up to the ante. You also did a brand new expanded edition of Hello Ninja through HarperCollins.
The book, yep.
The book.
So
that came out like 2 weeks before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first around the time Netflix acquired the IP for the show.
Right.
We took the board book to HarperCollins, and they wanted to expand it into a 32-page picture book. So,
how many more pictures did that mean for you?
We were happy to do that. Well, I think it was just almost exactly double.
Okay. Yeah.
A board book is 8 spreads.
16. Yeah.
16 pages, 8 spreads. So.
No,
is 32 divided by 2 16?
It is.
Right on.
It is exactly 16.
I did that all in my head.
And so, you just doubled it. That's all.
Yeah, I just doubled it. And so, so Nate wrote, we introduced a bit of an arc.
Okay.
The story is answering the question, what do ninjas do all day? Because we've always wanted to know.
Right.
And there's also a sneaky squirrel thief.
Okay.
A messenger who knows kung fu.
Yep.
So a kung fu
mailman,
a letterman. Anyways.
Spoiler alerts, obviously.
And I repainted. Yeah, there's a mailman. Yeah, sorry, we
squirrel.
Repainted the whole thing.
They look awesome.
Updated the lighting, tweaked the character design a bit to the way I got it to a place that is
up to standard.
Yeah, up to my new standards.
Up to Forrest 2019
my standards are
standards.
only going up. Getting more snobby
right.
Well, hopefully every day.
I hope
certainly over the 5-year gap. It was published in 2013, and now
Right.
it is 2019, right?
Yeah, that
so
is
that's
wild.
not 5 years. That's 6 years.
Did you find something with
Here
the
you go.
IMDb page?
IMDb Forrest Dickison. First thing that pops up is the art department is Genesis History.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know how an IMDb. I didn't know anybody knew, or I don't know. I don't know who enters these things on IMDb.
I don't know. I think it's the same people who do wiki stuff, right?
But who are they?
Can you? I don't think you can edit that.
I don't know, but I mean,
What else
that's
do you have
it.
on there?
That's all I've got.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
Whoever it is
Somebody's
not
slacking
keeping up to date
because
yeah.
Is Genesis History great though?
Yeah.
So
So what did you do for Is Genesis History?
there's drawings throughout
Okay.
that I drew.
Can I find that quickly? Easily.
What, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just Google it.
Netflix,
They have a nice
Amazon.
website up. Amazon. I'm sure it's anywhere where movies
Okay.
are sold.
Well,
I don't know about streaming though.
right. If you're just on a real Forrest Dickison kick, you can just have a
All three of you out
marathon.
there?
Yeah, you could do a
Hi, Mom.
marathon of
Hello Ninja.
Hello
Is
Ninja.
Genesis History.
And did you?
You can go watch the Owls of Time trailer. I
Yes.
animated that. That's fun.
I
That got
thought
a
Go ahead.
comparison to Miyazaki on
Oh,
Entertainment
yeah, yeah.
Weekly.
Really? Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
deal.
whoever's at yeah.
By the way, I at Strands
What's Strands?
is the big New York City bookstore.
Oh.
No big deal.
New York City.
Yeah,
Did you mention that it was in New York?
it was
City?
it's in the Manhattan part.
Wow.
Big part.
Fancy pants.
I think so. I hope so.
You had no idea where you were.
I don't know. I saw Miyazaki. There's like a book about Miyazaki. There's like books coming out about him and his impact on animation. Did you know about this?
No.
It's like the starting point.
Oh, I have that. I've read it.
Okay.
I think there's two
Did
parts.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yes.
And they're
One just came out, I think. It was still in hardback, where the other one was paperback. That was the only indicators.
There's the early, I think it's called the beginning years or the early years.
Yes.
And then starting point, or
maybe that it's something flipped. I don't know.
there's a red one and a blue one.
Yes.
I have the blue one.
Okay.
I
I
have the
think
red
that's
one.
the second one.
Yeah, is the second one. So maybe I don't have the starting point. Maybe I have.
Okay. Anyway, I was like, man, I almost
Yeah.
bought it, but it was more than I
You can
wanted to
borrow mine.
spend. Okay, cool. What's it about?
It's a funny collection of interviews and essays and like memos
By him?
by him. So a few essays by him, some like just like company memos by him.
Yeah.
He talks about the Studio Ghibli.
Real quick, can you set the
Ghibli.
can you set the stage? Who is Miyazaki?
Oh,
Because it is a big deal that you
Hayao.
were compared to him on Entertainment.
Well, I mean-
Weekly. From whoever that is. But I mean,
whoever that
know,
was.
it doesn't matter, Entertainment Weekly did.
You know,
So who's that?
he's well, he's a animator
Uh-huh.
of renown
Okay.
in Japan. I mean, I don't know.
He's still alive.
he's still alive, still cranking. I think on who knows
I mean, I think the one that I picked up was like, this is a story of like the person who's made the biggest waves in animation.
Yeah, so
ever.
like Spirited Away, I think is one of the highest grossing films ever in Japan.
Wow.
It's nominated for some kind of Academy Award. I don't know if they accepted it or not. But so Spirited Away is a big one, and it's great. It's a fun
Okay,
one.
Spirit of the
And
Way.
it's all about
Is it kid friendly? Can we recommend it?
yes.
Highly recommended from Forrest.
It's it can get, not for very young kids because it can be pretty scary.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you're not giving like. It's one of
No,
those.
it's not
like
when you think
Strays,
about
something
like
it's-
Japanimation and manga and all this junk. It's not that.
Okay, good.
It's a lot more Western in
Nice.
its sensibilities and
Proportions.
proportions. If you yeah, and there's no Miyazaki's
Yeah.
not just like your kind of pervy
Got it.
manga artist.
Okay. Okay. So he did Spirit of the Way, and other I assume other things.
My Neighbor Totoro is a big one.
Totoro.
Totoro.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Are these things?
Porco Rosso is great.
Are these things that I would read subtitles with?
Well, the Walt Disney Company has
Yes.
partnered with Ghibli.
Okay. Ghibli or Ghibli.
Ghibli.
Yeah.
You can edit that out.
Okay.
So there's English versions, and they have like Howl's Moving Castle has Christopher, no, what's his name? Christian Bale.
Okay.
So big name, voice actor, or just American
Very
actors
nice.
will. So he's
He's a big deal.
he's a big
So
deal.
the book is for real. Like this guy made waves.
He made waves,
in
and he
the
still makes
animation.
waves.
Okay.
How
old is he?
I don't know, late 70s,
Okay.
early 80s, maybe.
Pretty old.
But yeah, pretty old.
Crazy.
And his son makes movies now as well.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of his
Okay.
son's work, but he just has I just like his approach
Right.
to animation filmmaking.
So, and that was Entertainment Weekly said that, made the comparison between you and him with your Outlaws trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was, I mean, didn't that take forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it did. I mean, not forever.
Took a while.
I mean, it was animation. Animation is you're just drawing
slow.
everything. So
Yeah, right. Okay.
yeah, Mark Beecham helped me out a lot on that one.
Shout out to Mark Beecher.
Shout out to Mark Beecham.
I should have him on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. For doing like whatever the shady book business. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever book business
For
he's
the
up to.
black market
That's right.
books. No.
Okay. And so at this point you've done a few things. Do you like this world? Do you like the animation world? Have you seen behind the curtain and thought like,
Hello,
no,
the
thanks?
animators did a fantastic job on Hello Ninja.
Right.
They,
so you are not the animator.
No, I did not animate.
Yeah.
I did not. So the way yeah, like I said, I was a consultant. So we would have design calls every Friday, and the studio up in Vancouver,
Okay.
Atomic Cartoons, would just have a playlist of designs, and then I would just give my 2 cents, and they could take it or leave it. And then every now and then I would say,
Forrest, sorry, we'll fix it.
"Hey man,
Sorry,
that's offensive."
Okay. We're being edgy, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I remember these meetings because you would tell everybody in the office when you were still in my office.
Yeah, I'd say,
hey everybody, don't talk.
no, it would be much more. It wouldn't be nearly as kind or
Right.
What's the word I'm looking for? Courteous.
Okay, and then you would do those meetings, and they would say, "We
Do those
did
me-
this,"
yeah,
and you
yeah,
would say,
they would
"Fix
that.
that."
I would say, do it again. And
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I
What are
wouldn't be
some
that
of
mean.
your-
I would say maybe change the color on the squirrel's armor.
Right.
They would say, you know what, Forrest, that's the worst idea we've heard all week, and it's Friday. We've heard a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah.
And then and every now and then I would take a design, and then I would take it on my end and scribble over it, and then give it back to them. So I ended up my official title starting out was just design consultant, but afterwards I actually have a credit as a designer, so I have 2 credits at the end.
Very nice.
Very exciting.
Not to mention based on the art of.
Yes, not to mention that. Did we mention that? Maybe you could mention it again.
Based on the original art.
Original illustrations.
Original illustrations from Forrest
or
Dickison.
by Forrest Dickison. So, anyways, and then later on I got a design credit too, which was fun. That was nice of them.
Yeah. Did you get credit for the font? There's a rumor
No.
going around. Okay,
Oh.
good.
I don't know if anyone is credited in the font officially in the thing, but that shout out to James Ingerbritsen. I think for a while everyone thought that I did that, at
Yeah.
least just back and forth between us.
And
the
Forrest was
comic
just
and-
like, well,
Ah.
maybe I did, maybe I did.
you know, it was my guy. It
Yeah.
was my team.
Right.
It was Team
team leader.
Idaho. That's the
Team
way we
Idaho.
refer to ourselves, as Team Idaho, because we had
Canada.
Atomic up in Canada, and then LA, Atomic LA, which was
Okay.
just LA.
Team Law.
And then
Okay.
Team Idaho was
Yeah.
its own special thing.
What is there anything you're super proud of in particular, of adjustments you made or like suggestions you made, and they took those, they thought they were very insightful, and then you said, "I'm very proud of this." When you see it, what do you
Oh,
what do you
man.
think? What are some standout moments? What can the people at home look for, and when it happens, they can look to their relatives and be like, I
You know
heard
what's
the
funny?
guy talk about this part.
It's I only see the things that make me cringe.
Okay.
Think, oh man, why did I do that? Or I should have, I wish we could have done that differently. But there's a handful of those, but the majority of it, I think, is great.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
What about your fish? What about the fish skeleton?
the fish skeleton? That I didn't design that.
No, you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think I offered a note that they ignored.
Okay. All right.
And the
Okay.
fish, like, I think there's a fish in every other episode. That fish
Yeah.
gets around. It's pretty awesome.
It's a great fish.
Yeah.
Now, with animation, things that I learned while you were doing this is that like it costs money to make things cooler. That's how I understand it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You absolutely can buy coolness.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's nothing that you can go down to J.C. Penney's and buy the coolest new thing.
Right.
Or the Gap, you know.
Or
that's
the Gap.
cool place.
Yeah.
Or Ross.
We went to one of the Ralph internet ones. Ralph Breaks Something.
Ralph Breaks the Internet 2.
And
No, it wasn't. It was just Ralph Breaks the Internet because that is the second one. First one was just called Wreck-It Ralph.
Right.
Yeah.
And was it his hair? I don't know. There was something, and that was like the first thing you mentioned. Was like, wow, they spent a lot on this hair. I forget what it was. I think it was maybe at the end.
Well, at the end, Ralph himself turns into like a
Oh yeah, a toxic masculinity guy.
just this roiling mass of toxic masculinity. And he's like multiple, like he's like 2 skyscrapers high, and he's just made up of
little ones of
tiny,
him.
like
yes,
tiny,
that's what it is.
like insecure Ralphs, just like this like
Being toxic,
massive Ralph toxicity just crawling over himself. And I thought, man, the computing power that went into that could send humans to
Mars,
the moon and back, or even Mars five times.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was gonna say 500 times, but I mean it's nuts. There's an episode in Hello Ninja cake something. They're baking a cheesecake for their mom's birthday. I can't remember what it's called. Baking for Bachan maybe. And they go to the Valley of the Beans because they need the vanilla bean.
Okay.
The seldom seen vanilla bean, which is pretty fantastic.
Okay.
And that bean valley, because it's also part of the ticking clock in the episode is that the sun is setting. They only have a certain amount of time to make this cake before mom's birthday is over. Yeah. So, and the Valley of the Beans, you know, it's, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of beans we had in there, but it destroyed the render farms up in Canada.
Really? Wow.
I mean, not literally. They were fine. They weren't smoking, but
they slumped.
To render hundreds of thousands of beans in a late afternoon situation. Tough. I mean, that's a lot of computing power. Just you're tracing light rays bouncing off of this and that and the other thing, and then it's pretty cool that it's amazing that you can do.
So I don't remember who did. Was it DreamWorks that did Ralph?
No, that's Disney.
Disney. Yeah. Pixar?
Disney.
Oh, just Disney. Just straight up Disney.
Disney.
Because of the princesses.
Because of the princess.
I remember.
Okay.
So they're
athleisure
like
princesses.
Yes,
no, yeah.
Athleisure princesses. Yeah, they seemed less pleasant than I remembered. Most of them.
You know, they had to redesign a good chunk of their princesses because you go back to the old Disney movies, and that's back when princesses were just princesses.
Just regular old princess gals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well that answers. I feel like asking the question I was going to ask. I was going to ask about like how would Disney's rendering farm compare to Atomic's, but I imagine it's probably
it's all
pretty impressive.
It's just total. It's just budget.
Right.
You can just buy. You can buy the computers, buy the software, and do that. And then
I'm sure Disney found money somewhere.
I mean, now obviously you have they're not hurting. Then really though, it's a render farm is just really fancy, like a really fancy pencil or really fancy oil paint.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just technology, and artists have always been using the latest tech to tell a story.
Back when they used to find like the rocks that made the most profound.
Yeah, man, it's just a really expensive cave painting.
Yeah, right.
Telling the story of what do ninjas do all day?
Yeah,
Let me get out my chunk of ochre that I found down by the quarry, and
I'll tell you.
And I'll tell you. I'm reading a book right now called The Story or the History of Color.
Okay,
that title could be completely wrong. It's fascinating. It's just called. All I know is it has the word color on the cover.
Okay.
And I just finished the chapter on ochre, yellow, which is a yellowish.
Okay.
Can also be reddish yellow ochre. Anyways.
It's on that spectrum though.
It's on that spectrum. And this lady, I can't remember the author's name. I'm gonna do a terrible job of pitching this book, but you should get it. The introduction She remembers when she was a little girl. She and her dad were in some cathedral somewhere in Europe, I think, and her dad looked at this stained glass window, and he said, "Do you see that color of blue? We still don't know how to make that color of blue today." And she said her world just like fell apart in a good way.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. That's fascinating. You think about the way colors are made, and I mean, brown used to be made. There was a type of brown that could only be created from decomposing bodies. So Europeans, this is like I think 1800s. There was a whole mummy trade. People from Egypt to like England, people would be digging up mummies, shipping them to the UK, and then one color man they were called, would he said that he could get a whole year's worth of brown from just one body. Or maybe it was 20 years.
Business
the
must have
numbers
been
are
good,
off, but
you know what
I know.
Yeah, like, I got brown for days.
Brown for days.
You know?
It's yeah. So
wow.
And then the first chapter on Ochre, this lady goes to Australia and digs deep into the Aboriginal art down there, which is pretty fascinating on its own. There's the whole like cultural significance of certain colors, of paintings, and like, you know, secrets, stories about the rainbow serpent.
Okay.
And
this is just in the first chapter
this
on
is just
Ochre?
in the first chapter on
Okay.
Ochre. So she goes, each chapter is a color. So this chapter I just started is on brown and black.
Okay.
Which some, you know, was really poo-pooed by the Impressionists because there is no black in nature. Boy, were they wrong.
And now here we are.
And now
just,
here
like,
we are.
dunking on them.
Yeah. So if you think about additive versus subtractive light, additive is, sunlight, stage light, anything that's producing photons, right?
Right.
So if you add a computer screen is on the RGB spectrum, red, green, and blue.
Okay.
Your TV is RGB. So if you take red, green, and blue with additive, you can mix them together and create all the rest of the colors that we see on your TV screen.
Really?
Yeah. So, but if you're doing subtractive color, you're mixing paint. It's like that's the CMYK. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. The K is black.
Okay.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, white is on a TV screen. White is the presence of all the colors. So you're shining red, green, and blue. You put all three colors on top of each other, and you put them together, and it turns out to be, and it creates white.
And MCYK?
No, in MCYK you put all the colors together, and it makes black. Not MCYK, CMYK.
CMYK. Sorry.
Well, so they add black in there just to get that really true black.
Okay.
But so let's say if you have because if you mix a whole spectrum of paints, you're gonna get something kind of a grayish. It's not gonna be black. You have to mix some darker values in order to get black. So if I'm painting outside, it's gonna be like Viridian and Ultramarine Deep and Alizarin, something like that. In the same way that white is the presence of all the colors in an additive situation, black is the presence of all the colors in a subtractive situation.
Okay.
So if you look at a painting that's got black in it, that's like, it's in the same way that white, we think of white as like the purest form because it's all the colors. That's the common.
That's
so,
what I've heard.
Yeah, black it's similar with black in a painting. It's the same. It's a presence of all the colors in that, because you can't.
That's so wild.
Yeah. So people that think, oh, black, you shouldn't use black. Like, well, why not?
So the Impressionists didn't like it.
No,
because it can't be found in nature.
They've discovered new frontiers by not liking it, so
the Impressionists,
it can be forgiven them. We learned a lot from the Impressionists.
I saw a few Impressionist paintings myself recently.
What'd you like?
I didn't see much black. As I think about it now, Degas wasn't too into the black that I remember, or Manet, or Monet.
Manet.
Or
Monet.
Neither of those two.
No.
Yeah, it seems all very.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know which Impressionist, if there was one, who thought, forget you guys, I'm using black.
Yeah, who was it first?
I don't know. I'll have to find out.
Okay. So, you don't know anything about that book enough to plug it?
What book? The color book? No, I don't know enough about it, but I'm still plugging it.
I mean, you're
'Cause-
plugging it, but not. I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Like title.
I can't say
author.
definitively whether, the author I don't think is a Christian.
Sure.
She is. I mean, she talks about evolution and things like that.
Yeah.
Come on, whatever. But to embark on a journey across the planet
For color.
That's a great idea.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Brown blows my mind now. I will.
Did you just read The Big Sleep by Raymond
Yes.
Chandler? Yeah. So I'm working on that as well.
Are you?
And what's the hitman's name starts with a C? And the way he describes him, he gets like one sentence of description or like a couple sentences. And the way that he's described is that he's just a brown man. He's got like a brown suit, brown hat, and it's like a car that might as well be brown. Anyways, and
He's pretty sassy.
that made me think about the color brown.
Okay. Yeah.
Recently as well. So we've both recently been thinking about brown.
A Raymond Chandler book.
Well, it just popped in my head because I spent all Friday reading it because I was sick.
Oh, really? All day? You should be like almost
Deathly
through, right?
ill. What?
Were you cruising for that
No,
book?
yeah, I was, but I didn't quite finish it.
Yeah, great book. It is the book of the No Quarter November trailer for those who want another Easter egg.
Fun fact.
And I remember there was a while that we were finishing, like, getting everything lit, so we were torching the rest of the deal, and
Yeah.
Doug just had to sit there, and he was reading, and we told him to stop reading, and he was just like, man, Chandler's story grip is just so good. I want to keep reading.
It's fantastic. And I kept reading like metaphors and things like that out loud to Danielle.
Very good. I
Right.
had several written down. There was one
Oh,
where he
yeah.
says, an army of minutes passed by.
Yep. He
Thought that was
gets
very
that one a
good.
couple times.
Yeah.
I think. It's funny too because this, I don't know if it was like the book, but this was one of the biggest. I think people point to this book as like the book that kicked off
The genre.
the genre
Yeah.
of like gritty detective novels.
What is it called?
Potboiler detective.
Potboiler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you experiencing the thing I did where you are noticing things that are now
Cliches, tropes.
Yeah, a trope, a cliche and a
exactly.
trope. So it's like I had the feeling while I'm reading it where I'm like, oh, this is such a cliche and trope, but
Yes.
like it
Yeah.
wasn't.
No, it's like
he's
Shakespeare.
He's making it.
It's like
Yeah.
the woman who didn't want to read Shakespeare because it was full of cliches.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the same thing. It's like
But yeah,
it's so fun to read Chandler and realize that this is like ground zero for
right.
that cliche, and it's all over the place. It's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I think I was surprised by how well it's written for something that's such a generally
Kind of a campy genre.
Yeah, those campy genres are usually more like here's the structure and just write it now. Everything is
Uh-huh.
predetermined. You just change the names, there's a few things you change and it's done. But man, he's so well written.
Yeah,
and
he can
metaphors
write.
are great, and I love the voice. See,
So cynical.
cynical. Yeah,
Just a touch of misogyny as well, I would say.
a touch,
Yeah.
a touch, and yeah,
But,
I
man, he-
hunted
you know.
down the Goodreads reviews, and people either really like Chandler or like they read him for women's studies, like literally.
Oh,
He's
really?
assigned
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to show like how
This is how bad it
misogynistic
was.
and terrible
Which is so funny because
the world is.
yeah. Speaking of books that people point to as
Misogynistic.
misogynistic, but not misogynistic. This one's I just recently read King Solomon's Mines as well,
Oh, okay. I
which
haven't read that one.
is super fun.
Okay.
H. Rider Haggard. That one I think he does cross the line into like quite.
Solomon's Mines guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
he does actually get because these
Haggard? Is that what you said?
Haggard.
Okay.
They it's just a treasure story. I mean, in Africa,
Oh, wow.
elephant hunter leads a couple guys down into Zululand, and
Is this
there's
a
a witch
20th
doctor,
century
and they
thing?
find King Solomon's Mine.
Oh, wow.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That one I think is similar to Chandler. Maybe.
Okay.
Well, now we're just going
30s?
off on random stuff, but
I know.
he's maybe a little bit racist.
Okay.
I brought that one up at U of I
More problematic.
as a potential final project. I told my teacher maybe I was thinking of illustrating King Solomon's Mines. Had he heard of it? And he looked at me like I was a crazy person.
Yeah.
That was, that's
Little
just-
did he know you were Forrest Dabney Dickison.
Yeah.
So I was going to tell you too. I am reading Understanding Comics
Scott McCloud.
that you loaned me
Yeah, that's a good one.
because I've recently fallen down the comic book slide.
Whatever it is. Is it a hole? A slide?
I do think it's a hole, and I think like I clung to the one fireman's pole that's like a really good one. Like
Being Bone.
Bone
Yeah.
by Jeff Smith. And
Hey, maybe you should get him on Canon Calls.
I was definitively told by his assistant that this show was not fit.
I don't know why. I mean,
I don't either.
Why
I even
would-
said
why would-
I told you this, that I linked to someone else who recently made their Netflix debut, and apparently they still didn't think that whatever you had to
Yeah, Jeff
say was
Smith.
good enough.
Have you heard of Forrest Dickison?
Yeah. So Jeff
He is
Smith
awesome.
wrote a series called Bone, comic book series by Scholastic now.
Yeah,
It's now
Scholastic.
by Scholastic.
Or Graphics, which is Scholastic's
Graphics, yep.
imprint. Graphics, yeah.
Soon to be on Netflix. And anyway, there's a big giant tome on Forrest's shelf in his office, and I've been staring at it for 2 years. Finally read it. Really, really
Well,
enjoyed
and
it.
you've mocked me for it.
Mocked you for it. It's
yeah.
too big. Simply too big. It's
Simply too
it's simply too
Si-
big. I'm not joking when I say
A real-
tome. It's huge.
It's a phone book.
It's 4 or 5 inches. It's 4 inches at least.
Well, I mean, it's
Um,
12 years and 9 books. I don't know how many books there were.
Right. And then I discovered
Wait, are there 9?
there's 9 books.
Oh wow, that's a very Lewisian number.
Lewisian.
Yeah.
And so then I found out. So I took it off Forrest's shelf. I opened it and started to read it, just like it being in my hand, and I was like, "This, I can't." So I've quickly Amazon a used book.
Book
of
1,
the
2, 3,
first
4,
book
5,
one.
6, 7, 8, 9.
So then I bought all 9 books.
I went.
What's that?
Now I'm thinking about Planet Narnia
Oh wow.
and what if Jeff Smith? Because Jeff
Yeah.
Smith, I don't know if actually Lewis was as much of an influence as Tolkien there, and he didn't know about Planet Narnia.
No.
So,
he
but
mentioned Narnia at
Oh,
some
well.
point on a thing.
I mean, everyone's
Everyone's
but
read
not
it. But I had enjoyed that so much. I'm not somebody, when I look down at a bookstore at the comic book thing, I'm like, yikes, feel like I probably need a shower after just like looking at a few covers. So
Yeah.
I was very surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And then I borrowed the Amulet series from you, read the first one on the plane.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You worked on the 8th book.
I did. I
That's
colored
not on
some-
the IMDb page.
Nope.
But all that to say, so now I borrowed Understanding Comics from you, and I just traveled to New York for a little trip, and I was in
Very cool.
St. Patrick's. I think it's St. Patrick's Cathedral on 5th Ave. Very big deal.
Oh, that's right by Ground Zero.
Yeah, not far. I think it's like it's right outside of like Times Square.
Pretty sure Harper is the building right across the street. I'm pretty sure I was waiting. Oh, let me just look it up.
Okay,
before.
I'll talk while
Go
you
ahead.
do that. So, one thing that Scott McCloud talks about in Understanding Comics was that the genre is usually reserved for what we think of, like people that go to like Strange Cats for comics, comic books. But really, comics, like the form itself, has been around forever. And as I looked up at the stained glass windows, as you mentioned, you were talking about those earlier.
I think I'm wrong.
Yeah, because I think this is on like 5th Ave.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know about New York. I'm from
I
North
know.
Idaho.
Right. What do you know?
What do I know?
You grew up in a trailer park. Right next to Brian Colin. Look at him. Went to Oxford.
Yeah, no, it's not near Ground Zero
Okay.
at all.
But all that to say, I looked up and I nudged the person next to me and I said, "Those are the first comic books at the stained glass windows."
You said that
I said
to
that.
some stranger.
Yeah.
Did they run?
They laughed
They laughed.
and then just kept going.
What was your was it very knowing? Like,
I kind of like just was like, "Look at that.
oh,
Check that
cool.
out." They were
Well,
already looking at him. And
that's
I
not
said,
true though, because cave paintings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then, yeah. So, but it only just goes back. So,
Yeah.
all that to say, that's all I have on comic books. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah.
At least the few that I've been given. Maybe we would just put out. They should be highly recommended by people you trust. For anything.
Comic books. There's a rare few. Tintin and Asterix are always great. Asterix, the Gaul.
Okay. I didn't tell you, but it Strands at that very nice bookstore in New York City,
Where you were
where I was at
recently.
Manhattan. I got the authoritative Calvin and Hobbes.
Wow. Well, New York would have
Yeah.
that
Right.
because they are the authority on everything, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Very important place. And anyway, so I got that. I've been enjoying that quite a bit. I also got a illustrated kids book by Dylan Thomas, poet, Welsh poet. Christmas book.
Was that the?
I
Have you
forget what
shown
it's
it to me
called.
yet?
I haven't. I brought it, but I haven't showed it to you.
Was the authoritative Calvin and Hobbes very heavy?
Yes,
Yeah. So did you put it on the plane or did you ship it back?
I shipped it back.
Nice.
Because I wanted to read Amulet and keep going through understanding.
You wanted to read your other
comics.
comic book.
Yes. So
Jake is still single.
I don't know
What does that mean?
why that has anything to do with what I was reading.
But you're what did you say? A connoisseur of the comic form.
I would say no. Yep. After
Yeah.
maybe like 16 days in the form in the genre.
Are we? Where are we going with this?
Nowhere really.
Is this a Canon Calls or is this going to
Yeah.
be something else? It is.
Yeah, Forrest, can
Wow,
you act like you know what we're doing?
This is what Canon Calls has come to. Recycling me.
Well, friend of the program.
You know what? I'm always happy to be in here. I just want to make sure I'm giving you the best content.
No, it is the best content.
Okay.
I
Wow.
feel like it's
You heard
easy.
it here, folks. From Jake.
Doan has come on again, but I don't know if the audio worked, so we'll have to redo it.
You forgot to press record.
Well, I was over there, he was over here, and he wasn't doing what I'm doing with this microphone. So,
Anyways, comics are great.
so
they get poo-pooed, but here's the thing. This is a Jeff Smith.
Sell comics
Sell
for somebody
comics.
who would never do it.
Just gonna sell the medium, not gonna sell a particular story.
Okay.
But so it is kind of halfway between film and prose. The thing about comics though is that, well, if you're watching a movie, it's just washing over you. It's a very passive experience. You have to really work to like stay alert and to try and notice what's going on, and because just by the nature of the medium, you're just receiving information, and all the work has been done for you. The director decides when and where to cut, what to show, and then you watch it in 24 frames per second or 60 frames per second. I don't know.
Depends on the shot.
It really depends. With prose though, you're actively building. You and the author walking hand in hand into
Side by side.
Side by side. Hopefully the author's not agreed.
Usually though.
Into some place that you either should or shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So you're given this very visceral experience that is, I think, a lot more effective than a film because it's so personal. Because you are building it in your own head.
Yeah.
You're creating an experience and memories that can feel as if they were your own.
So when you say effective, you mean effective unto
stickiness,
possession.
Yeah,
making them your own.
Yeah, making it your own.
Okay.
Comics are you're being given the visuals, so there's, that's one level that the author is kind of handing to you. That's another so it's a little more passive in that sense. But especially with someone like Jeff Smith and Bone, it's pretty spare.
Yep.
And you're still there's opportunity to kind of picture a world beyond the lines, which he does through character, story, and pacing, things like that. You can still get the sense that there's a bigger, broader world out there. But the big thing in comics that makes it an active experience is the gap between the drawings, where you're given one drawing where a character is standing up, or there's a great panel in Bone where, in the first few pages, I think, where Bone runs off a cliff.
Yeah.
And the first image, he's in a cloud of locusts at the time, because so he can't see the edge of the cliff. Runs off. I think you see his feet dangling above the air. The next panel is him, I don't know, dropping. He bounces off a ledge, and then lands, in the pile of dirt.
At the bottom.
I don't know, maybe it's snow. It's hard to tell. But you're the reader is the one putting all that together. You're just given these snapshots, but you're the one making him fall. The sound effects are happening in your head, so you're still participating in a more active sense. It's not just a movie on paper, which I think is probably why people think it's such a lame experience or a lame medium. Yeah, so mediums. The same with impressionism. I mean, there's all kinds of different methods.
Yeah.
That get a lot of shade thrown at them because the first artists to experiment in that method were either just childish or hated God or You know, there's a spectrum there.
Sure, there's between childish and hated God for sure. I do want to ask you how important
Hello Ninja is.
Hello Ninja is.
Should we break? What were you gonna ask me?
But before I would do that, I want to ask. So with Christmas coming,
Yeah.
Let's say somebody is now convicted by your pitch for comics.
For comics.
What are some like really good starters for like maybe some stocking stuffers?
Calvin and Hobbes.
Okay.
Like I said, Tintin, Asterix.
Tintin. What is that? I don't know
Asterix
that I've ever
the
seen
Gaul.
it or heard you talk about it.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
You tune out
I
right
tune
after
out right
Tintin.
after Tintin. I know. Hergé.
Hergé.
Okay.
Okay, and then the Amulet series by Kazu's great.
Okay.
That's got 8 books in it so far. He's writing a 9th right now.
Okay. And you worked on the 8th, so it doesn't get much better than that.
A teeny tiny bit.
Yeah, because I bought the Calvin and Hobbes. Next, I'll do Tintin.
I
want to start buying the Karl Barks series.
Oh, yeah. And then there's that. So, Donald Duck, Karl Barks.
Yeah.
The Donald Duck comics, as I don't know if written and illustrated or just illustrated. Probably written and illustrated by Karl Barks. Those are good. That's good. Good, clean fun.
Very good, clean fun. Some of what sent me down this, and then I want to talk to you about my question.
Okay.
But the last thing I want to say about the Jeff Smith series, like what fascinated me, he said that the 2 fundamental influences were Karl Barks and The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, and it shows.
And it's such a really cool and, at least to me, very unique set of influences that really worked out well and effectively, and something that kept me going in terms of
In
like
Bone.
there's in
Yeah.
Bone.
Yeah.
Very silly, but at the same time there's a whole universe here,
Mm-hmm.
and it just keeps unveiling and unveiling and unveiling. And I didn't like everything about it, but in as a whole it was very unique, and I want to.
It was fun.
Very fun.
Which
Very fun. And I
it's
put in my
not really
Goodreads
trying to
account.
be
You
anything
should,
else.
yeah, right. That's very true. And I think I put in my Goodreads account. I think there's it's there for all ages. It says that on the thing. This is for
Mhm.
all ages. I thought there was more cleavage. I thought it was weird for the cleavage
Yeah.
for the all ages. but
He's a bit of a feminist.
and ends it like a feminist. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but
But not so much that you should
that you
ignore it.
shouldn't. Yeah, I
There's
think
things there.
it's a fun book
Mhm.
and recommend it. With the you made a comment about important or not important anything is. Well, you were in context. You were talking about Marvel, Captain America, and Black Panther. Black Panther, there was a real move. I don't think there was anything. I haven't noticed a move to make them like the cultural moment important, like I did with Black Panther. That was obviously a moment. a
No, I'm
cultural
just thinking
moment.
about all the like Wonder Woman was another one.
Oh yes,
Well, and now the Joker.
right.
Batman kind of
Yeah.
kicked off
Did
the
you
new.
see Joker, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
I did.
Was it trash?
Yeah.
I saw a fantastic tweet the other day that said, I don't remember what the first part said, but the punchline
Okay.
was great.
Okay.
Something about the Joker movie has, everyone was worried that there was going to be all these shootings at theaters because of the incel movement, yada,
Right.
yada. And it's like the only thing the Joker movie has succeeded in doing is gentrifying a staircase in Brooklyn.
Yes, you can You can.
Did you go, by the way?
I didn't.
Did Jake, I don't know if you know this, he was recently in New York City.
Right.
But I think he spent most of his
Very
time in
important.
Manhattan.
The authoritative. Well, I slept in Brooklyn
And hopefully in a
Um,
house.
yes.
In a bed.
on a couch.
Yeah.
And
On the couch.
but you can Google Map the Joker stairs.
Yeah.
And it'll take you right there. And a bunch of people are dancing on it, dancing
Just
like a
the
goof.
things that,
Yeah.
that stick. It's just
So, is any art culturally important?
fun. Absolutely.
Like weighty, this is a moment. This will change lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Not Hello Ninja though.
Well, no. So think about the church calendar.
Okay.
And the feast days.
Yeah.
You know that people aren't just eating on feast days. They're eating every day, right?
Right.
And every now and then they're snacking,
Yeah.
even. A little
PB&Js.
manna here, a little quail,
Yeah.
feet there.
Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly
Whatever
quail.
it is. Yeah.
Right.
So Hello Ninja is a snack, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
It's not a feast day.
Right.
Every now and then there's some piece of art comes along that is highbrow, does not give a rip what you think about it, and just, or some art comes along that is lowbrow and punches up, which is always my favorite, because it's not pretending to be something super, hoity-toity.
Right. What's an example of that?
Oh man. Well, back to Miyazaki. Spirited Away is, I think, something that it's for children. It's lowbrow. It has to be commercially successful. But that's a movie that's all about the kind of the collision of capitalist America and a post-war Japan.
Okay.
So it's a huge part of it is about capitalism. Can the next generation of Japanese children remember their own heritage, pre-war heritage?
Right.
Or are they just going to sell out to the American pigs?
That West.
And it's great.
Okay.
So that's an example of something that's like, fun, but
Lowbrow.
there's another thing going on at
Sure.
the same time.
Okay.
It's a good time. Yeah. What was your question? I don't remember.
What how important are things?
How important are things? Yeah. I mean, Hello Ninja is not. It's not a discurse. What's the word?
A discourse. It's
It's
just
not
a
pretentious
jaunt,
enough. I think discursus.
Discursive.
It's not a discursive jaunt into,
The problems of the
evil.
West.
But here's the thing: the goal for Ninja was to entertain without damaging.
Okay.
So we want
Tell me about
kids
that.
to watch it and have fun. We want it to feed imaginations, which are very, very important. Your kids grow up without an imagination, and they will be yanked this way and that by anybody with an imagination.
Sure.
Um,
With a poor one or not.
with a poor one or not, because to have any sort of vision for your life, for your family, it requires imagination.
Yep.
To be able to see the world the way that God made it, to be able to, interact with it, it requires imagination. You see something, you see the dirt, and you think, how could I turn this into an iPhone?
Sand.
The sand.
Yep.
How can you look at anything and think and see something that could be, but is not?
Right.
Requires imagination. So in that sense, Hello Ninja is
Imagination. Yeah.
the
so
most
you're
important
so
thing.
you're just you're giving
No, really, yeah.
you're giving the PB&Js
PB&J,
so
because
that one day
hopefully one of the kids that watches it will.
be president.
yeah, that'd be great. Maybe Donald Trump Jr. is watching it. He's like 12, 11.
Oh, Donald Trump Jr. is
No.
a man.
Yeah, so
but
Donald Trump Jr. Jr.
His kid. Yeah, I think he's like 14 or something. I don't know. He hasn't been in the news lately. He's not been triggering the libs lately, so I don't know what he's up to or how old he is. Forrest Dickison, thanks so much for being on. Hello Ninja is on Netflix. Get, your own account. Maybe get your in-laws account. And
Start a 30-day free trial.
Start a 30-day free
Snack
trial.
on some ninjas and then get out of there.
And then get out of there and imagine something great. Look at the dirt and imagine, who knows
The
what.
next Hello Ninja Kid show on Netflix.
Right. Which, who knows?
You can reinvent the PB&J.
Do you have anything you want to plug? Oh, go like Forrest Dickison at Facebook. You can follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's got an Instagram too.
Instagram is more important
The most important
for my stuff,
for his genre,
hardly
for
ever
his
post.
medium.
for my medium.
Yep. But
Twitter,
he
I
will
don't think I've ever
start
tweeted
posting
anything.
more often.
Will I? Did I say
You
that?
better. Yep. And then keep getting me things for the Facebook. And then, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, but
Go watch Hello Ninja. Over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, just keep racking up those minutes. Thanks for coming in, dude. You can say bye.
Bye.